Recording log. Wait a minute. It's February already? Oh, Jesus, I better make a video, shouldn't I? Now, where did I put that intro? No way, that's not it. That's definitely not it. Where was it? God damn it. Okay, I guess this one will do?
I'll take your hint.
YouTube.
I see what you're saying to me. Don't you worry. We're on the same level. Jesus.
Hey, it's me, the RWG, AKATheSKay, finally breaking my video silence, you could say, with another update video. I mean, not releasing a video in January? Anyone would think I was avoiding the month of bad ad revenue.
I have not now, nor will I probably ever make money on this channel.
Why? Because Ivory Towers. Won't somebody please think of the children? And USA democracy. But hey, at least I'm not the only one. I mean, I've seen YouTubers who do this for a living who are quite literally getting grey hairs from the crap they have to deal with. Looking at you, completionist. No hate for you at all, my dude, but goddamn. So many people on YouTube just seem to be like they have Stockholm Syndrome or something. So what to talk about first? I mean, it seems lately like whenever I'm bored out of my mind somewhere I don't want to be, my head is overflowing lately with stuff to talk about. Much of which ends up on my Twitter in one form or another, in case you don't know about that already. Or sometimes in the form of notes that I then, within less than a week, forget about writing. Then when it finally gets to the point where I can actually do something with these notes for ideas, suddenly my brain is like,
Give up. Just give up. Let your dreams be dreams.
it's kind of frustrating to say the least. However, it did make me realize something. The way I think now compared to when YouTube started more than a decade ago has changed about as much as the platform. I went into YouTube being like, yeah, I'm gonna be an animator like Ego Raptor or something, and well, we all know what happened to him, don't we?
You have to like do. Okay. Aaron, don't leave. Aaron, don't. I love you.
No, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done.
No, you're not.
This is bullshit.
I'm gonna go.
This is fucking bullshit.
But we're not here to shit on people, even though I've already been name dropping. At least not today. No, ladies and gentlemen, I am using him simply as an example of where life can take you. You see, with all the BS happening online right now, I had a bit of a epiphany. Something I wish I'd realised much sooner, but I suppose it was one of those things I needed to realise myself because no one apparently was going to tell me. I mentioned before on another video how important the internet is and how video on demand might be the most important human invention since the printing press. But I never really thought about what exactly that means. I remember once thinking that people who listened to audiobooks were some of the most lazy people in the world. Except they were probably ahead of everyone this whole time. Maybe not so much for stories which need your imagination, but for everything else, I love to make some boring as fuck robotic task I have to do where I don't need to do any thinking go by way faster by simply listening to something in the background, like a podcast, an interview, a video essay, or even a let's play if the banter is good enough. And the more I look at the landscape on YouTube, that seems to be where a lot of the content seems to be going. Let's Play seem to be becoming more and more rare because there's so much nonsense that happens in those videos. So what tends to happen now is things become more self-contained into one video, or if they absolutely must do a Let's Play, there's almost constant talking. Because there needs to be a lot of the time for some of these games. Some of these games do not make good Let's Play videos at all. Not without the banter to back it up. I'm kind of paraphrasing here when I say this actually, but I remember a long time ago on probably one of my favourite podcasts, which pretty much doesn't exist anymore, called the Co-Optional Podcast, where they were saying how Let's Plays had lost the strength to them that they once had on the internet. Granted, yes, some of it is Google meddling with the algorithm, but there is also this element of when you do Let's Plays, unless you're, well, even if you are super popular, what generally tends to happen is the first episode gets a ton of views. Particular episodes where some amazing, hilarious thing happens or something might get a lot of views as well. But most of the views tend to be either the first video in a set and the last video in a set. The ones that are any remote kind of successful, that I mean. So where does that leave the Let's Play whole form of entertainment? To be perfectly honest, I really do think it's kind of dead. Yeah, people watch Twitch streams, but that is still quite niche when you compare to the views of things that happen on YouTube. The only time really where Let's Plays get watched is if it's something like a speedrun, or the person who's doing it already has a very big fan base. Anyone else, it's just like, you can forget it. You've got to do something else. There's no two buts about it. You can try. I mean, by all means. I'm not saying if you have some Let's Play idea, just give up on it. But I'm saying you can't build a channel just off of that anymore. You've got to have something else. And I'm noticing more and more, it kind of 9 times out of 10, it's usually some form of video essay or like, how's it going, guys? It's your boy here opening loot boxes, or epic kill streak, or how to do this thing in a game. Oh, also, small side tangent with that whole thing. Those people who make videos of like, I'm opening a bunch of loot boxes, pretty much any kind of video to do with gacha. You are the scum of the earth. Manipulating these kids. I'm just gonna go out there and say it. You are the scum of the earth. If YouTube didn't exist, you would basically be the equivalent of a salesman knocking on doors trying to sell shit to kids. That's basically what you are. That might not be your intention because you just want them clicks, but that is basically what you are. In fact, come to think of it, this also pains me to admit this as well. I've noticed, well, some other people noticed this before me, but I've kind of like realized because of what they realized. But last year's YouTube Rewind took a very strange angle in that it was very numbers based. It wasn't so much of a celebration, but almost it was like something an AI almost had put together. It was very strange. Normally YouTube Rewind videos are all like, oh, snazz pizzazz, look at all these famous people you know from the YouTubes, da 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 da. Whereas this time, so many numbers on that video, oh my god. But one of the most interesting ones I noticed was how, when it came to the gamer community, which by the way, Google and a certain video website claim they're looking after the gamer community, yet despite that fact, on the YouTube Rewind video, it rated the top 5 most watched video games, not video game content creators. That's kind of a big statement they're making there, don't you think? How about I remove all doubt from your mind on what I'm basically implying here? They're basically saying the product is more important than the content creators. And I honestly think, but I can't prove it, at least not yet, that YouTube is designing the algorithm around that concept. I mean, there's always been a thing when it comes to video game content that if you're a video game content creator, you kind of have to stick to one game for a while until you build a community, and then if you're lucky, you can branch out. Even people that I respect greatly for what they've done in the past for content creation, people like Total Biscuit, Jesse Cox, that sort of thing, they both started on WoW. That is what made them have careers, that is what made them have communities, that is what made them start from nothing to somebody, and then from that point, you gain the trust, and then you can move on to other things. Now, why am I rambling about all this stuff, I bet you're wondering? Well, that's because I'm in a bit of a dilemma, ladies and gentlemen, because the way YouTube rewards content creators, it means that I'm supposed to, if I play by the rules, make this channel extremely niche. Extremely niche, which would probably mean make the channel nothing but Dragon Ball Z content. Which, if I'm perfectly honest, would drive me mad. I mean, I know there's a lot of people on the internet now who have big obsessions over a certain topic, subject matter. I mean, I remember a period in time when you being obsessed with one subject was something that's like, oh, only autistic people are like that. But nah, turns out a lot of people are actually like that. But, yeah, through a combination of me having an upbringing of basically being surrounded by people who are like, oh my god, can you shut the hell up about that thing? Not to mention how many different things interest me. Me concentrating on too much on one game or one kind of subject matter would probably drive me nuts, so I'm a bit unsure what to do right now, if I'm completely honest with you all. If you had told me that some of the most popular videos I was ever going to make on my channel would be stuff just where I was talking back when I first started this, I would have called you crazy. And yet, more and more, that seems to be turning to the reality right now, that I keep wanting to make all these grand masterpieces, and yes, I know hardly anyone actually achieves that perfectionism masterpiece that I want to make. It's like a folly of trying to be creative, but this is where the trends seem to be going, and this is kind of where my head is at. It's like, wait, I have to ramble for ages? Is this the way forward? What? Video essays? What? I used to hate writing essays in school, by the way. So, me being in this situation is just like, what the hell? I also mentioned in the previous update video that VR chat kind of blew my mind last time. Yeah, that's still a thing in progress. It's forced me to think about the way I see myself and other things in a different light to what I used to do, which is a good thing. It's just sometimes your brain is just like, what the hell is going on? But that's one of the things with life, really, isn't it? I mean, things like when people say about doing exercise, bodybuilding, it's called bodybuilding for a reason, because you kind of break your body down and build it back up again. Sometimes when it comes to life itself, I suppose, sometimes you have to sometimes go through a bit of pain before you can become better and stronger at the other end of whatever the thing is you have to do. I'm continuing to learn more about myself, other people, psychology, philosophy, even a bit of history here and there, and it's really changing the way I think about things. It's cliche to say this maybe, but I do genuinely think that like charisma and psychology are like the closest things we have to like Jedi mind tricks in the real world. If you don't know about that stuff, you get manipulated in ways you are completely clueless about. And it's everywhere, my dude. Everywhere. Even like in the video games you play now. In fact, that's one of the worst things. I'm almost tempted to make some video about it, of how the psychology used in video games has changed, and how that can be a good thing or a bad thing. And let me tell you, there is a lot of bad shit going on right now that companies are getting away with, because people's understanding of mental health and psychology is not up to snuff, as a general rule, let's just say. As you can see from the clips being played on the screen right now, I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter, and I'd never really played much Monster Hunter before Monster Hunter World. It's probably one of the best action RPGs I've ever played. I mean, I never really played the Monster Hunters before it, but this does a really solid job of trying to balance the grind with the skills that you need to finish the game, plus the gear you need to get. It tries to find a nice balance somewhere in the middle. I will say it's hard for people first playing, it's a bit overwhelming, but once you get past that initial hurdle, it gets a lot better. However, compared to when I've been streaming things like Dragon Ball Xenoverse in the past, holy hell is trying to stream Monster Hunter like some desert by comparison. I don't know how true this is, but I've heard rumors that the Monster Hunter community are actually quite snobby, which would explain why I'm getting almost no traffic for when I do the streams for it, because I'm new. And I would imagine if the community is snobby, they'll be like, oh, your first Monster Hunter is Monster Hunter World? Aw, aren't you precious? And in response to that, I would like to thank the veteran Monster Hunter community for basically beta testing all the other games before this one so we could get to this point. Thank you very much for that. You saved me a lot of time and BS. But in all seriousness though, this puts me in quite a dilemma. Because I've been playing so much Monster Hunter World lately, there's this sense of how do I make content out of this that people actually want to see, and the answer to that is there isn't really anything I can add. Maybe I can do like video diaries, highlights of the best and most silly moments, but as you've probably noticed by now from the Xenoverse videos, that is pretty time consuming stuff which I don't have the time to do. It would be awesome to have like a video editor to help me out or something like that, but problem is I don't actually have any way to repay them for their hard work at the moment. So yeah, that kind of limits the pool of people who will be keen to be like, yay, I'll make videos for you, I'll edit your stuff, you can pay me in exposure. Speaking of limited time, I did a poll a while ago now for basically the community that we have going of what games I should be playing through first. Granted, Monster Hunter World has kind of got in the way of that right now, but I will be respecting that list. So things like Mega Man and Metal Gear Solid have been pushed to quite high priority things that I want to play through. I want to have a better understanding of what makes Mega Man good and bad, and I really want to have closure on Metal Gear Solid because I played the PlayStation 2 games back in the day, and I really need closure. I want this to end. I want the ending, damn it. I mean, Lord knows Konami isn't going to do much good with the series anymore, so might as well finish it up. Question is, though, do you want them as videos on places like YouTube, BitChute, etc.? If you do, now's the time to make some noise, because there's few things in this world more annoying to a content creator than working their ass off on something, getting no real audience attention for it because it's not something they wanted in the first place, and then you half-ass something instead, and then that gets all the views instead. that I tell you right now, that drives content creators crazy. I've seen other people say that it drives them crazy as well. It's not just me. Which probably explains the mindset that a lot of people are getting now of, there's an old saying which goes quality over quantity, and yet a lot of people on YouTube are starting to say it's the opposite. Quantity over quality. I have a bunch of people who follow me on all these different medias all over the internet, and some of you follow me because most of the time I can talk quite intelligently. You have a thing for English accents, some of you, I suppose. Some of you follow me from the gaming content I do in general. Some of you follow me for when I used to do Star Wars stuff. Some of you follow me because of Sonic. Some of you follow me because of Xenoverse. Some of you follow me because of Monster Hunter, though that's probably the smallest group out of all of them. And some of you follow me because of the strange, weird, wild adventures that have happened on VR chat. And I appreciate all that support and the friends I've made through that. But what's kind of driving me a little bit crazy now, and I'm trying not to think about it too hard, is I don't know how to make all of you happy. It's actually similar to a situation I have with VR chat of like, I can get along with most people, but you can't seem to get along with each other. So I'm just over here thinking like, what do I do? I know I don't have enough clout or whatever you want to call it on the internet for you guys to just be like, I don't care what you do, just you do you. So I don't know what to do. I admit I've lost some motivation to do Xenoverse related stuff. I've not quit, I'm just on another hiatus because editing those videos sometimes is just mind-numbing as hell, my dude. There's been some serious drama that's going on in my life, both in that game and out of it in the real world, and some of that will be mentioned in future videos when they get made. But for now, I would just say that things have been kind of stressful. I don't want to be known just for making one kind of content, and yet, at the same time, that is probably the fastest way I can make videos that you guys want to watch, is pandering to one of those groups of people that follow me. I mean, how do you guys feel about these kind of videos? Do you like me talking for ages? Do you like them to stay within 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes? Is me talking too long actually got the reverse effect and making you want to die because you're like, oh god, shut this man up? I don't know, man. Because I'm not getting enough feedback. I don't want to sound like a douche or anything, but this is how the system works now. I know people say, oh, even if I had no views, I would still be making stuff. That's nonsense. That's complete and utter nonsense. They make things, they see how people react, they adjust based on that. That is how the system works. So going forward, you might see a few experimental videos here and there, some pilots, you might say, like one-off videos to see how they do, and depending on how well they do, I might make more of those kind of videos, and if they don't do well, I might not make more of those kinds of videos. At the end of the day, it's down to you guys. This is how the system works. We've got to help each other, pretty much. Because Lord knows most of the websites you might find this video on aren't going to do it. I hope I'm not sounding self-absorbed here. I'm just trying to make you guys understand that this is how it works. If we don't support each other, you're basically turning these websites into TV 2.0, where they decide what succeeds and what doesn't, you know? And that's enough rambling from me. If you want to talk to me or support me in some way of like, oh, helping with videos or something like that, we have the Digibunker Discord group, which I've posted before and I would do so again in this video. And I'm kind of ending the video here now because I feel like I'm rambling. But I will say I have ideas for a secondary channel. I mean, I've mentioned this before, but I might do some videos on there too now. So I strongly suggest you go and follow that channel too. And yes, I've run out of things to say right now. This is why you should do scripts and not end up rambling by the end of the video. This was me, the RWG, AKATheSKay. I'll see you next time. Leave comments in the video for questions and stuff like that. I might make a video responding to them. And I'll leave you with a little something from another channel that might be a thing, possibly, maybe.